AJ Smith with us right now, GM of the San Diego Chargers. Welcome to Vegas. And how do you spend your time here when you get to town?
Well, we'll usually have a function. We have a lot of meetings here, personnel meetings, and we get away. We want to get out of San Diego, and we'll spend a couple of days here, I'd say last 5 years. And then after that, we'll go like 8 to 5, and we'll have dinner together and socialize like anybody else would here. And then get right back at it. We do that pretty regularly.
The fan base is blooming here. I mean, it's really blowing up, and that's part of the move here. We carry you guys here on our station, and
yes.
And you kind of like the way things are going as far as the fan base blowing up in Vegas.
Yeah, we've heard about that, and now to hear it from you, I'm glad that more reinforcement that we've got a lot of fans here, and hopefully they'll stick with us. Hang in there, because we've got a new year and a new exciting year, and everybody's 0-0 and all that stuff.
Melvin Ingram, very good selection. We have a draft party every year, and I wasn't that familiar with him, and I'm sitting in the draft party, and his name comes up, and the first guy says to me, "Oh, it's a terrible pick," and I'm like, what happened? Then a Charger fan comes over and said, "Man, see, we got this great pick here," and I read up on him, and I find out he is one of those guys, you're probably going to stand him up on the opposite side of Phillips, and you're going to have some heat going up against the opposing quarterback now.
Well, that's exactly right, and he's a very versatile guy. We can move him around, drop him, put him in the middle, put him outside on both sides. He's going to bring the heat, as you said. He's going to rush the passer. We think he's a great athlete, great competitor, physical, nasty guy. And we didn't really think he would be there at that spot, to be perfectly honest with you. And he fell to us, and we jumped all over it, and we never looked back, and we're glad he's with us.
What goes on in the war room on that day, draft day?
Well, in the war room, we're all looking at the same players. We know that. Maybe we evaluate them differently, but we had the 18th pick in the first round, so we'll have our meetings for a couple of weeks. What 6 or 7 guys do we want to be Chargers? And we call it a realistic cluster of players, and we'll take any of them. We had a defensive emphasis. We were going to go defense for the first 3 rounds, and we did. And then we have some guys that we don't think will be there. We're making a guess. That's all we are. We think that he probably will go somewhere else. We call that a bonus pick. He was a bonus pick that fell into our cluster, and when that happens and they fall in, he goes over all the rest. And we knew when it got a couple picks before, he might be there. Seattle took a pass rusher, not him. Jets took a pass rusher, not him. And I started looking around the room and said, "We got a shot. We got a shot." And then he came to us and we're thrilled.
Is there any bluffing? Like, if you want a player to bluff another team off by posing, there's some way to do that?
Absolutely. It's good to have this conversation in Vegas, too, isn't it?
Yes.
You try to do that a little bit. For an example, what I tried to do this year is say we're in the safety business, and we were, but in the 3rd round. And kind of get that moving around, and I know it was all over the media that we were going to go up and take Barron from Alabama and maybe give up picks. Or possibly, if he wasn't there and went to another team, which he did, we'd bail down out of 18 and go get Smith from Notre Dame. So that was moving all around the place, and that was not our intentions. But when I heard it, I kind of liked it.
Nice.
So it gets people off the beaten path a little bit. A lot of that gamesmanship, we call it in our business.
And it works. Charger GM AJ Smith here with us, Seat Williams. And you've got all your draft selections signed, and this is about the earliest it's done, I guess. The collective bargaining agreement came to terms, and you're 5th overall in the league as far as getting them all signed.
Yeah, we did it pretty quickly, and I think right now we're 5th, and of course it could be the 6th or the 7th. But the reason for that, it's not such a remarkable job by us. There is a collective bargaining agreement for the next 10 years. Things have changed dramatically in contract negotiations. So I don't think it's all that unique, to be honest with you. I'll be stunned if there's any holdouts. They'll all get done before camp, I believe.
Expectations have been high over the last half a decade for the team, but you've gotten to the playoffs, you got to the AFC Championship game, but not quite over the hump yet. How close, and what will it take to get there for Charger fans?
Well, first of all, we've had a couple bumps in the road not being in the playoffs, and we don't like it at all. And you can't win a championship unless you're a playoff caliber team. And we need to bounce back and do that. And that's our goal right now. We think we've had a tremendous draft. We had a great off-season, too, with some free agent acquisitions and some moves that we made. And we're not done yet. Maybe there's a few things we'll do along the way. There's a trade option through October. We've got to iron a few things. There are no guarantees on that. But we'll know better in August what kind of team we have built, but we're almost there now. But I just want us to be healthy. The last couple of years, I hate talking about injuries as an excuse. I certainly don't do it during the season. But as a realist, I know what happened to us the last couple of years. We got to avoid that. And hopefully our guys can stay healthy and our backups. We got to do a better job on our backup players. We lost 6 games in a row. We can't do that in Savant. We got to eliminate that. Not go on that much of a losing streak. We can do that, stay healthy, and get after this thing. Be competitive down the stretch. We want to bounce back and gain our respect back in the league by being in the playoffs. That's respect. And hopefully then you chase it. You chase it hard once you get in the playoffs.
What would you say to the fans out there that wanted to be the boss and said, fire Norv, get a different coach?
Well, I understand the passion of the fans. I always have. They want to fire me too, right behind the coach, by the way. So, you know, it's the both of us. Because they want a general manager that can get it done. They want a coach that can get it done. They want to raise that trophy over their head. They want to parade downtown San Diego. And we haven't been getting it done. So they want somebody that can. There's no guarantees to that. But just hang in there with us. And the true fans do. They vent. They let it fly. And they should. But I'll tell you what, when the offseason comes and the draft is there, they're there. They're there and they crank it up and they're ready to go and they're in the stands. So we're going to do everything we possibly can to get at this thing and try to make it happy for all of them and for us.
Got a great leader in Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
Went through that period where you mentioned the 6-game losing streak, and it was really difficult to watch that. Me also being a Charger fan and native, and at the same time being a guy in the media. So you gotta be respectful on the air, but at the same time you know what you see, and he didn't have his kind of year. What do you think was going on, or do you know?
Well, I think he pressed a little bit. Things weren't going real well for us. Defense was not performing well at all. We were last in the National Football League in getting off the field on 3rd down. You're not going to win a whole lot of games. We had a lot of injuries. Our offensive line was depleted. Things started to fall apart a little bit. And I think he pressed and tried to put it all on his shoulders to carry the entire football team. No one man can do that. He has to be a leader and be great, and we think he is, but we need a supporting cast around him. He settled down a little bit near the end of the season. Our line got solidified. We made some moves. We made changes on defense, and we started to do well down the stretch. But it was too late because of the 6-game losing streak. But we put it all behind us. He's healthy. He's out there leading our players right now in the off-season program. So I know he's fired up to get it done.
I have to ask you this, concussions and bounties.
Well, the bounties, Roger Goodell, our commissioner, has safety, player safety, paramount. I mean, you got to be living under a rock not to know that in the last several years. And he's made a statement, strong and powerful. Unfortunately, the hit went to New Orleans for what the interpretation was of what they were doing. I'll stay out of all that. That's between Roger Goodell, the league, and the New Orleans Saints. But I heard the message. But I think it's unacceptable. We won't have it. It's intolerable. I think the whole league is behind the commissioner on this. I don't believe it'll happen again, see? I really think it's so powerful, a statement that was made. If you were thinking about it, I don't think you'll ever think about it again, because what happened to them will probably happen twice as bad for someone else. So it's over and done with, it's finished, and everybody's moved on.
Also moving on, Wayne Nunley, a friend of ours here, played at UNLV and was the first former player to coach at UNLV, your D-line coach there for a while before he moved to Denver. Pretty good man, huh?
Great man, know him well, all the years in San Diego. Know he retired. I did not know about it till I heard about it. But he's going to hang it up. I think he's over 60, and knowing him, plans his life. He's got some downtime coming now. And he and his wife and family, knowing him, he's probably got a list of things he wants to do right now. But enjoyed knowing him, a great guy, outstanding coach for us. Been in the league for a while, coach forever. Yeah, I hope he has a great retirement. Wish him the best.
Before you go, finally, you're known as a gambler when it comes to making moves.
Here you go again with these Vegas terms.
Tell us about that moniker. Just, he does things out of the box, they'll say about it.
I've heard that. I do know that. I'm just willing to do, I'd like to think, whatever it takes to win. Jimmy Johnson, the coach, Dallas Cowboys, great coach in college, as you all know, 2-time world champion with the Cowboys. He has a saying, I met him many years ago, you can be safe and good, and that's okay, or do you want to take some chances to be great? How are you wired? And I heard Coach say that. I think we're in Vegas, as a matter of fact, at a function, to be honest with you. I said, Coach, run that by me one more time. What did you say? It's well, you can be safe and good, and that's okay. Or do you want to take some chances and gamble a little bit? It'd be great. I said, well, I think that's what I'd like to do. So I've done some things along the way. I call it an aggressive approach. You know, trade draft picks, go up in the draft, do whatever you need to do, make some controversial decisions maybe, but all of it's in the best interest of the Chargers. But I don't think I'm known as a passive person, or to be laid back, or afraid of controversial subject matter. You never allow that to enter your world as an executive. If you do, you better move on to another profession. It's coming at you one way or the other. But Jimmy Johnson, who I think also goes to Vegas on occasion, from what I understand.
Right.
I learned that from him and a lot of other things. And I'm just going for it as long as I have an opportunity to do it.